It starts with
My homies, my dudes, my bros, and my colleagues of the academic world. Welcome to another video. I'm He Brain Too Big for His Goddamn Head.
I roll my blunts with the honor roll.
And we're the otakus of the night. Lately we've been making a lot of videos about why our lives are really terrible and about how, just being us really sucks because we
Are so hard.
we do have really hard lives. And another thing that has been really on our minds a lot, and we're finally ready to discuss it with YouTube to kind of put it out there in the open, is how much it sucks being extremely intelligent or as intelligent as we are. It's almost too much to cope with. The burden of being extremely intelligent is a very hard burden to bear, just like the burden of knowing Schrodinger's great insight, discovered in late 1925, which was to express the phase of a plane wave as a complex phase factor, as shown by the equation phi in parentheses x comma t equals ae to the I in parentheses k times t minus wt.
So our IQ is so high of a number that people with low IQs, like, let's be honest, probably you, can't counter that. Even us with high IQs can't even counter that number.
Extreme intelligence is not only, book smart, but it's also street smart and creative smart. But one form of intelligence we really want to demonstrate to you now is our musical intelligence. This little number is called Crawling by Linkin Park. Crawling in my skin, these wounds they will not heal. Fear is how I fall, confusing what is real.
First word as a child, as a baby, was computational physics.
Since we're super smart, we use a lot of really, really big words in our everyday speech, such as verbatim or aqueduct. And right now we're coming to you in, the more layman's terms. But normally in our speech we use such big words that it's almost impossible for a normal person to understand us, because we just use so much like scientific jargon and so many big linguistical words that no one even knows what we're saying, and that really alienates us from the rest of society, because the only people who we can really converse with are each other.
It's hard to fit in anywhere, especially with other like nerd cultures, because a lot of people who are like extremely intelligent will be like, oh, it just like sucks because I can't get laid, and it's just like we can't even share that experience because we both get laid a lot. So it's like it's just a double-edged sword of just like a painful life that we are both extremely intelligent and get laid.
Being extremely intelligent means that not only are we really book smart, but we're also really street smart. We're also really creative. We're also very musically talented. We're just every form of intelligence is what we have. And if we don't have any weak points in our brains, then you don't really have to undergo any form of like cognitive or personal like improvement. And before we became like super smart and knew everything by the fourth grade, a big part of our lives was undergoing personal improvement. And with that gone, we feel like we really have no more goals to reach. Like, we've already reached them, we've already shattered them, and there's nothing more that we can do to really make ourselves feel fulfilled in that sense. One of the saddest parts about being so smart is that, once you know everything there is to know, you don't get any joy you can't get the joy of learning anymore. Like, even if there is something that we learn, like, our brains are just so quick and just so powerful that we absorb it and we don't even get to go through the process of learning it. And it just takes away all the joy from life, because if you already understand everything there is to understand, you can't really appreciate, like the magic and everything that happens around you for what it is. All we get to think about is why this is happening, how it's happening, and it really takes away from everything that's great about life.
It sucks because I like to go to the gym and work out, so I can get swole, but when you see other guys at the gym, people are admiring at their physique. But when I walk into the gym, people are just miring up my brain and like how intelligent I am, and it just sucks because like I want to be intimidate people. I want to be able to intimidate people with like just being like really swole and ripped, and I'm tired of just like intimidating people with my brain and my intelligence because like all I really want to do is just be valued for like stupid little vain things. I don't really care about being smart. It's just this just burden that I was like burdened with.
Another problem with being extremely smart is that if somebody challenges us to, a battle, it's like, never mind.
Sorry, we would have went into detail, but we didn't want to, confuse all you simpletons.
We have the funds to buy our way into a college like Harvard University or Amherst College, but no matter how much money we give to these schools, these institutions of learning, they only want to admit us based off our intelligence. Like, how embarrassing is that?
Slamhurst! Being really intelligent and being able to speak so many languages is really hard because sometimes I lose track of the things I'm saying. And dhahabtu ila souk fi jamiat.
¿Cómo se dice?
Watashi wa sekushi desu.
A lot of people don't recognize all the things that we've, accomplished for humanity, such as being sex icons, being the figureheads of the straight white male oppression movement, such as being in the richest 0.01% of all the people in America. No, people insist on seeing us and making us famous for being some of the smartest people in the world. We may have invented things like Newton's first law, Newton's second law, and Newton's third law, but that shouldn't take away and detract from how sexy we are, how rich we are, and how straight and white and male we are. It's just not right.
We're so straight and white and male that we're straight edge.
And vegan.
We have blood on our hands. And if you want to know why, that's because, when people look at us, when people meet us and like realize just like how basically like perfect people we are, they don't know what to discriminate against us for. Do they discriminate against us because we're rich? Do they discriminate against us because we're extremely good looking? Do they discriminate against us because we're extremely intelligent? Do they discriminate against us because we have comfortable lives? Do they discriminate against us because we're straight white males in America? They don't know. That's just too much, just hardship for one person to comprehend. So their brains and their head just fucking explode. And that's another reason why we're becoming intelligent, because like we just kill more and more people, which means that there's less smart people in the world, which just means we become more intelligent by default.
We are caught in the crosshairs of many different oppressed groups, and we really feel like that makes us more oppressed than many people who are, straight white males, but they're poor dumbasses or something like that. Because when you're caught in all the crosshairs of all these movements, you're kind of being bombarded from every single side, metaphorically speaking, by all these different injustices in society. And being really, really intelligent, we are extremely adept and really able to notice these injustices. But unfortunately, the one thing that we lack is political power to change it. We are intersectional, extremely intelligent, sexy, straight white males in America who live comfortable lives, and we will not stand for this kind of discrimination from every single direction at once. Being extremely intelligent, everywhere, everybody wants to use us for our wits. Not only does every single corporation on the planet want us to come work for them, does every government want us to come and serve their country, does every single college want us to admit them, does every single research facility want us to come and research with them, but everyday people just think that we are like walking brains, and we really feel like that's detracting from who we are as people. Everybody just kind of only wants us for our brains. Nobody really stops to think about, who we are on the inside and how and what kind of people we are. People always judge us by our extremely intelligent, extremely sexy covers. But, they say that you can't judge a book by its cover. And, well, for us, you can judge that we're sexy. But that's really about it. our extreme intelligence doesn't mean that we're douchebags. It doesn't mean that we're extremely aloof. It doesn't mean that we think we're better than everyone else. It just means that we're smarter than you. It's really, really tough. Just being able to fathom and just knowing everything that has happened, everything that is happening, and everything that ever will happen. Not because we're omniscient, but just because we're really smart and we're able to really understand everything that happens. And frankly, it's a lot to handle. I mean, even a brain of our size and of our capacity is still a human brain. There's only a finite amount of knowledge that we can really retain out of the infinite, span of time and space itself. But knowing all of that, somehow our brains manage to cope just because we're really intelligent. And, it's a downside because knowing all this stuff all happening at the same time, all housed within our brains, it's very close to just driving us insane. And most people who don't have brain capacities to the same extent as us would be driven mad by all the information we know, by everything we understand, by everything we can understand, by everything we will understand. Frankly, it's a big burden to bear, knowing all this information, especially not being able to explain it to anyone. We're the only ones who can truly fathom everything that there is to fathom.
I never get to enjoy the beauty of life and nature and, just looking around anything outside of what's directly in front of me, that all my life is just white, gray, and sometimes yellow. And you want to know why? Because I spend every waking minute of my life that I'm not getting pussy face deep in a book. And not any, fun fantasy books. No, none of that bullshit. I read the dictionary. I read the thesaurus. I read the encyclopedia. I read every textbook you can get your hands on. And I read 50 Shades of Grey. But that's beside the point. But I spend a lot of time nose deep in books. And that's just my world. It's just very, very dull. I never get to experience anything fun because my eyes are constantly glued to a book.
The reason why I can only see black, white, gray, and sometimes yellow is actually because I'm colorblind. But that too!
Oh man, so much information!
Oh man, I'm learning this so fast. It's
oh wait,
not
I forgot.
anymore.
I already learned all this. Why? Because I'm extremely intelligent.
But
I like to read what I know because then I can double check and make myself even more doubly extremely intelligent.
this way, I kind of reaffirm my own intelligence, and it's always good to brush up on some big words that other people may not know, such as dissatisfaction, or monarchical, or government, or a.